much. I started with my opening remarks talking about one of my priorities is really to depoliticize Capitol security. And Mr. McFarland, I know you share this goal with me, and I want to thank you for your leadership in bringing greater transparency and accountability to the board. As you know, the U.S. Capitol Police Officer of Inspector General is required to make the reports public. You referenced that in your opening remark. As we noted, only 2 reports are made public prior to this hearing or in the near future. You obviously increased that and doubled it in the lead up to this hearing. Appreciate you making progress. Question for you: it was referenced you're building out a policy. Is there a written policy regarding the process for approving the public release of Inspector General reports, or is that an informal process that the board has?
Sir, the way it refers that I think that the IG process works is the U.S. Capitol Police IG, after it reviews everything, it proposes redactions. It's sent then to the Capitol Police Office of the General Counsel, where they also take a look at it. They propose redactions. It's then sent to the Inspector General working group that we currently chair. And then this is where we either propose our own redactions or we ask for concurrence. It then goes to the Capitol Police Board. We vote on it, and then once we vote on it, then it gets published. And
so in that voting, do you feel that the board then has the final say on making those publicly available?
That the board does, yes.
The board holds that, has the authority. Thank you, and I appreciate the work you're doing on that. Ms. Gibson, thanks for being here at the hearing as well. I think you'd agree that both the Senate Rules Committee and independently the Committee on House Administration have oversight jurisdiction over the United States Capitol Police Board, right?
Of course.
And you're currently the chair of the U.S. Capitol Police Board. For the most part, in the role of the chair of the board, is that mostly administrative, or is there any other practices that would be unique to the chair, as all board members are voting equally, correct?
All board members are voting equally. All board members have say and participate in deliberations. The role of the chair is largely administrative. It is, hosting the meetings typically held in our spaces. It is assisting with administrative requirements and setting the agenda. I have never known any time when a board member has been denied the opportunity to introduce an item to our agenda.
Perfect. And do you agree that the Committee on House Administration has oversight jurisdiction over the chairperson of the board as it relates to the role of the board?
That's an interesting question, Chairman. I honestly never contemplated that as an oversight role separate from my role as an officer of the Senate.
I would go back, and you sent me a letter in your capacity as chair of the Capitol Police Board objecting to actions taken by the Committee on House Administration. And so I think this is a dialogue that we should have a little bit, but in the role as chair of the Capitol Police Board, I think the Committee on House Administration does have oversight. I understand we don't if it's in your role as Senate Sergeant at Arms. And so I'd like to insert to the record that the letter that you wrote dated June 6, 2023, signed by you as chair of the Capitol Police Board, making those comments. Let me move on, though. In your opening remarks, you noted that the Capitol is secure. You were also a member of former Speaker Pelosi's post-January 6 honorary task force, which raised multiple security concerns in the report regarding the Capitol complex and provided pretty significant recommendations. Of those recommendations that you were a part of, have those all been completed?
The vast majority of them have been, I believe. We certainly get back to you on that. I know that the one on introducing horses into the department is not. It is not a recommendation that the department has chosen to adopt, and there may be a few others like that.
And so inside a sufficient number have been resolved that you feel confident in saying that the Capitol is secure?
Yes.
Okay, let me jump back to you, Mr. McFarland, in the final minute that I have, just to turn our attention to the 2017 Government Accountability Office report, where the GAO did an analysis of the board's operation, and it found that the U.S. Capitol Police Department's tactical decisions were being made by the board or the responsibility of the board. An example of that would be the uniform standards and issuing of gear, a pretty tactical, less strategic decision-making process. I'd like to see the board operating a little bit more strategically than tactically. Can you comment as to the reforms we could make? And I know we're short on time, but maybe very briefly.
Sure, sir. What I suggest is on little things like that, when it talks about the clothing of the Capitol Police, I do think that the chief should make the ultimate decision on that. I don't think it should be a board recommendation.
Thanks. I think there's a broad idea here as to how we get the board to operate strategically, not tactically, so we can focus on oversight, depoliticizing Capitol Police security, and supporting the men and women of Capitol Police. Thank you all for being here. I'll yield back.
Very good. Senator Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Chairman Steil. Chief Manger, you've proposed to restructure the department to prioritize accountability, internal controls, and employee development. Your proposal creates several new positions, including a third assistant chief of police. There are also several current positions, including your 2 current assistant chiefs of police that remain occupied by acting personnel. What is your strategy and timeline for filling these open positions with some permanent appointees?
So I've said from the day I got here that I wasn't going to make those promotions at the upper ranks because that would just deplete the lower ranks, and we could not afford to do that. However, we're in a position right now where we've just completed promotional processes, and I'm looking to make the promotions throughout the ranks by the end of the summer.
That's good to hear. Thank you. Many law enforcement agencies are having trouble maintaining appropriate staffing levels. What programs have you implemented to improve recruitment and retention at the department? You've been successful. What impact have they had on those programs?
So first of all, I have to thank Congress for changing our pay scale, which made us very competitive. The fact that we are able to fund a retention bonus each year, student loan repayment program, a number of other benefits that we're able to offer our officers that other departments do not. As much as I read and hear from my colleagues about difficulty in recruiting people, thankfully, we have not had that problem. We get over 1,000 applications every month.
Remind me what the number is now on officers with the department.
We have 2,010 officers. Now, that includes officers that are in the academy as well.
And what is your goal?
Our authorized strength is currently 2,126. However, I'm hopeful if the FY24 budget passes, it'll bump us up to 2,204.
And on the assistant positions that I mentioned earlier, are you looking at drawing from current officers within the department, or do you anticipate to look outside? I assume you're on that road right now when you said you were hoping to fill those positions with permanent people by the end of summer.
Yes, we're in the process now. We've gotten applications both from inside the department and outside, and all will be considered.
Okay, thank you. Also, Congress has provided specific mutual aid funding for the department to reimburse other law enforcement agencies that assist the department's protection of members at events in their home states. Can you describe that process for conducting outreach to these agencies and how the department ensures collaborative information sharing to support those mission requirements?
So where we know that there are either leadership or members who have threats that we're dealing with, we're proactive in reaching out to the local law enforcement. Where we get requests from any member of Congress for law enforcement coordination if they're doing a town hall meeting or whatever in their home district, we're proactively contacting the state or local agency that can assist and formulating a memorandum of understanding so that we can reimburse them for their assistance in that home district.
Have you found that cooperation, that collaboration to be positive?
Very positive. Now, there are some of our members live in small towns where the departments can't necessarily give us the assistance that we're looking for, but then we look beyond the town to the county or the state. So but it's all very positive.
When you look to the state, do you have pretty good relationship then with the governor's office, say? Has State Patrol been involved in this?
Yeah, well, we go directly to the head of the law
okay.
enforcement agency, and yes, the cooperation is always very good.
Okay, and this is for any member of the board to answer as we look at these threats against Congress and members of Congress. They're increasing, not just physical, but online and through technology that we use on a daily basis. So how are your agencies working together to mitigate cybersecurity threats that target the technology infrastructure of the legislative branch? General.
I'll take that one, Senator.
Great,
As I think as I'm responsible for cybersecurity in the U.S. Senate, as you know, and my House counterpart is the Chief Administrative Officer. We have a very robust and capable cybersecurity team within the Senate Sergeant at Arms CIO shop. They work closely. They have access to a number of commercial vendors to provide additional support. We collaborate very closely with the Capitol Police and the House Chief Administrative Officer on cyber threats, as well as the architect has some cybersecurity responsibilities as well. Together, we are working to enhance relationships with external entities like the FBI, DHS, and others who have access to sensitive threat information that does not readily make its way to the legislative branch. And while there's still considerable work to be done, I'm very pleased with the progress that we are beginning to make in that regard.
Thank you, General. Thank you, Madam Chair.
vắng lẽ loi con đò. Hãy tin hỡi người, năm tháng không hề nhạt phai. Câu hát ru lòng ta, người ơi người có mồ hôi ướt vai gầy áo mẹ. Hãy thương hỡi người, chưa vắng nghe lũy che dí dào. Hãy tin hỡi người, năm tháng không hề nhạt phai. Câu hát ru lòng ta, người ơi người có vắng lẽ loi con đò. Hãy tin hỡi người, năm tháng không hề nhạt phai. Câu hát ru lòng ta, người ơi người có hay. Trên đồng giọt mồ hôi ướt vai gầy áo mẹ. Hãy thương hỡi người chưa vắng nghe lũy che dí dào. Hãy tin hỡi người năm tháng không hề nhạt phai. Câu hát ru lòng ta, người ơi người có hay. Câu hát ru lòng ta. Người ơi người có